Sam Flannel, Michigan, number 5. The outside looking in. Your thoughts?
No, there's no problem with that, because here's the reality of the situation. If Michigan wins out, they control their destiny. They will make the college football playoff, and not only will they probably make the college football playoff, if they win out, beat Ohio State, get their signature win, they might get the number 1 seed. So Michigan is just fine. They're exactly where they should be. They played a bit of a soft schedule. So being at 5, all they have to do is be undefeated for the rest of the year, and they'll be in. So at this point, these rankings mean absolutely nothing. I am just fine because Michigan controls their destiny.
All right, and it was always that. And that's where the thing with me, since week 1, nothing's changed with me. With the schedule, the way they had it set up, you beat Ohio State, you're in the playoff. The thing that's really amazing to me is they could get cooked by Ohio State, and they're still going to go to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's what happened to Ohio State last year. They lose to Michigan and they go to the Rose Bowl. That's kind of the consolation prize. But if you go into that game either with 1 loss or undefeated, the Rose Bowl is a nice consolation prize. Although now that would be extremely disappointing, because I and all Michigan fans and the Michigan program have national championship aspirations, and I think for now rightfully so.
T-Foss, your reaction?
The committee punished Michigan slightly for having a weak schedule, but it still puts them in position. If Michigan belongs in the Final Four, they will be there. If they've earned their way to the Final Four, they put them in position where they're going to be there, because teams ahead of them are going to have to play each other. They're going to have to play Ohio State, can knock them behind them, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. I mean, people are going to play each other. So at least 2 schools will be knocked down. So Michigan's right there.
You're going to find out, and obviously, you're in a win-win situation when you do this ranking at this time, because you have the top teams, and the Ohio States and Michigan's got to play each other, Tennessee's, the Alabamas, all that different stuff.
You can spin your narratives.
Spin your narrative any way you want. Cream rises to the top. What this told me, though, Neil, remember how we were talking about earlier that Michigan could be a 1-loss team to make it to the playoffs if they kept it close against Ohio State? I think the fact that you have the Tennessees and the TCUs in there, which you're looking at, and more every week, you're giving them more respect, because in your eyes it sounds like they're earning it, that I don't think a 1-loss team in the Big Ten will get 2 teams in. So that's the only thing that really changes looking at this narrative to where that is, because Michigan's going to have to come from the outside in to get there, and that means beat Ohio State. More or less, I think I don't know if it was shocking or was it deserved. I could say because it was this first rankings, but Tennessee being number 2. Because here's the one thing, too, I also saw last weekend where I said I think Alabama's done. I think they're ranked exactly where they should. They're on the way out. But Georgia, you're going to find out this week if Georgia has found that, if Kirby Smart has found that championship pedigree that they fed off of last year, because they're the one that had the hiccup, but I think they're back on track. Does that make sense?
And what this tells to me, like my initial reaction to this, is the SEC is going to get 2 teams in. Even if they all lose a game, they're going to get 2 teams in. They are. Because when you look at the construction of Michigan's schedule, and then you line it up against Tennessee's schedule, who played Alabama and at Georgia. Then when you line it up with Alabama's schedule, who played through the SEC and also played at Texas. Then you line it up with Georgia's schedule, that played the SEC schedule and destroyed the fabric of Oregon earlier in the year. I mean, flat out embarrassed them. That's going to be better than anything Michigan can bring to the table. It just is
at this point.
At this point,
until they go into Ohio State and win.
No, I'm talking about like one loss, one loss scenarios.
That's why it's out.
Yeah, that's why it's out, because it didn't shake out the way that they needed it to get 2 teams in.
We didn't expect Tennessee to be this.
No,
this
Tennessee
good.
was the wild card that messed it all up for everybody.
So we can agree on that. So The fact is, the imperativeness of what you've always said: 1-game season. You got to go into Ohio State and do something that doesn't happen.